and compliment each one of you. Moving beyond these nitty-gritties is the kind of alignment that we have. Alignment in our thinking, and this is my personal belief, personal observation, and each one must feel happy about this, that we have an aligned thinking towards our work, towards the direction, towards our goal. And as a team, as an individual, as a group, we have been successfully able to work towards whatever we have plans which we may have. There could be long-term plans which may have been worked out 2 years before, or something which we may have initiated just at the beginning of this academic year. But we are conscious of the fact that there is certain things which has to be achieved, and we are all aligned in how to achieve it and how to achieve in a timely manner. I think this is a great achievement as far the alignment of our thinking as well as our efforts and our commitment towards deadlines are concerned. The third thing that I would like to highlight is again the involvement and the initiatives. Alignment would be fine, alignment and our commitment towards deadline and work, but when we talk of outcome, when we talk of results, and when we are talking of quality, these are the points of recognition to the efforts and to the kind of work that we may have been doing. Challenges remain. Expectations are even increasing, which I am going to talk about. But let me tell you that we should not be under this impression that we may be just moving in wilderness without any kind of a result or without any kind of an outcome. Being shared is that in the next 3 years, he wants to see, or the vision is that we should be in the top league of the league of top 30 as for the national P schools are concerned. In last year, in the common FDP that we had, a vision was already outlined, which was reflecting similar sentiments, similar sense, but now it is being even much more re-emphasized. How to achieve it? We need to focus on quality and higher benchmarks. So when we are talking of alignment, we are talking of initiative, we are talking of ideas, and when we are talking of future and next few years, we must keep in mind that now we no more be satisfied with doing activities or completing it on time or completing the activities, but our focus should be, or our priority should be, that how we want to, or how can we make that qualitative differentiation in that initiative or activities that we do, or what kind of higher benchmarks that we can set. So Tomarji, if I take the immediate example of Spardha, if we had IIT Roorkee this time, we must ensure that if from 200 or 200 odd kilometers IIT Roorkee can be here, why IIT Delhi cannot be here on campus? And we need to make that. Why if I am Great Lakes from Gurgaon can be there, why IMI and MDI and others cannot be there? And for that we need to have a qualitative mind change in our mindset. I will be talking about, I think this again may not be a general remark or a general observation. And pardon me, I'm picking up from the last meeting that we had. If I talk to admissions and I say that, okay, well, how Jaipuria is better, had come replies NDIM तो ये नहीं देता है, उनके पास इतनी फैकल्टी नहीं है। भाई वो दिन लग गए जब आप अपने को IMS और ITS और NDIM से कंपेयर करते थे। अब आगे की सोचो। स्पर्धा के लिए आप मीटिंग करो और जब आपके पास लिस्ट आती है तो वी आर कंटेंटेड विद द नंबर्स कि वी हैड 25, बट इफ यू लुक एट who all participated, it is basically Delhi NCR and good colleges here. But if we have to reach higher benchmarks or qualitative benchmarks, we need to reach higher. We have been often talking about the qualitative, the input that we get in terms of admission, intake that we get in admissions. We need to set in the qualitative benchmarks there. We might have gotten 5 on 5 in terms of admissions or placements, but can we remain contented with that? Can we reach league of top 30 with the kind of profile of jobs or the kind of salaries that the placements offer, or our students are capable of bagging it? Can we remain, or are we ready to struggle in the classroom with the same profile of students that we get today, or we need a better profile of the students? And these are all, I need not talk in detail to this esteemed gathering, but this is all cyclical. Half an hour back, Swati ma'am walked in and she was talking about sharing the feedback of IDP, which was just concluded last 2 weeks. Each one of your story would be similar. They would not be different. I think everyone was found wanting not only in be well on the subject knowledge, but in terms of presentation and talking. I think observation was made that they were even poorly performing as compared to what they would have performed during their entrance interviews. I think we need to come out of that. Dreams and goals. Institutional, personal and all aligned. Another important thing which was clearly mentioned by the chairman was that each and every member in the institution need to be aligned with the goal and the vision that the institution carries. There should not be one single person who should be left or who can be away from this aligned vision. And personally, I feel that if we are talking of this kind of a migration to a higher level or a growth of the institution, and for a moment when we all also look at our own individual development, many people and many a time I listen and I hear that these are at two cross purposes. I think this is a mistaken belief. As the institution grows, it gives you the greatest opportunity to grow yourself. And if you can align your individual growth with the institutional growth, as we are talking of the institution's growth in the top league of 30, our aim should also be, and our objectives of reaching the profile of the faculty or the staff of those super top 30 institutions. These two objectives, our individual objectives and the institutional objectives, cannot be different. They cannot be contradictory unless and until we positively take these challenges and dreams and goals together. So therefore, this is another important aspect we must understand and we need to take it forward. Lastly, he used a word, ruthless. We need to be ruthless. You can have both sides of, both kind of connotations to it. Simplest of it is that as an administrator, as an institution, You need to be ruthless over people, ruthless over their performance, ruthless about their conduct, about their behavior. But I see it in a very different way. There will be no question or no discussion of this aspect or this connotation of ruthlessness once we follow ruthlessness in our determination and in our work. If we are ruthless in our involvement, if we are ruthless about our own objectives and goals, and ruthless about our own commitments and our work, the question of other face of ruthlessness never arises. And if we have to be successful, we need to be ruthless in our initiatives and approach. Now, having identified the priority areas, I have already talked about quality. What is that differentiating factor that is going to take us to a next league or next benchmark? To my mind, quality can be the only differentiator. Whether it is in terms of teaching, if I look at it from a student's perspective, or if I keep student in the center, it is my teaching, it is my training, it is my mentoring, it is the kind of readiness for placements for them and admissions that is, and the kind of admissions profile, the profile of students that they are getting, that is going to make a difference. If I need to look at my faculty, then it is the research and publishing, connect with the industry. This is, please note, one of this important area. And we must work on that how individually we can establish our connect with the industry. At least in next 1 year's time, can I have a one-to-one-on-one relationship with at least 6 of industry experts who are visiting our campus or otherwise? I get so many requests for my personal reasons and other reasons, you move out of campus. Without compromising on your class, please move out for your interactions with the industry. I'm okay with that. For that, you don't even need, if it is a genuine thing, it is an honest initiative, I will be the last person to ask you to fill up a half day or a quarter day leave for that exercise. Rather than sitting in my cabin and doing nothing, or rather than struggling to think what is to be done in next 2 hours, I think I should move out and see that how I can identify one corporate or one company and work with them. MDP consultancy, institution building, new initiatives, national and international. When I talk of MDP consultancy, institution building, and particularly for faculty members, for all of us who, besides teaching, and maybe unless and until I am a prolific researcher, am mad about research, either publishing numbers or publishing Group A publications, I must identify a niche for myself. Tomorrow, if I have to grow as a professional, I must see that in addition to teaching, what am I known for? Am I known as a MDP person or a training person or as a consultant or as an institution builder? Unless and until I do it, the institution is not going to, or your industry is not going to recognize you. Or even if they recognize you, you will be always recognized as a normal faculty member. Which I am sure as we grow in it, and this applies to each and every member. I may be talking about faculty, I am even coming to the staff level. When I talk of come out of routine, enriching self in knowing work and improving upon them, add value to work, set better and high benchmarks, ensure system and policies where person becomes secondary. So each and every one, your staff, as a staff, you need to know your work, master your subject. I had half an hour session with the admissions team. you need to be, everything of this institution should be in your blood. And it is not for Jaipuria that you are doing it, it is for your own personal growth that you are doing it. Tomorrow Neha should aspire to become Amit Atri. And Amit Atri is known just not because he is a vice president. He is known because he has certain competencies and certain qualities in him, and therefore your aspiration at this age should be, if not anyone else, within your organization you need to look at Amit Atri. You may have your other idols, but to become that, what do you need? You need an understanding of your work. You need how to express that, how to articulate it in action. And we have discussed in detail how it is to be done. You need to be a consultant to a particular student or a parent who walks in the campus. You just can't say that, okay, we are better just for X, Y reasons. You need to have a substantial story and a backup to tell every information, backup information to substantiate each and every point that you are going to talk and convince your parents and the students. You should not know each and every faculty, you should know each and every corner of this institute and create a story behind it, which is a genuine story. And that will differentiate you from the rest of the counselor which may be existing in other institutions. And that way, Jaipuria benefits, you benefit, and you benefit a name in the industry. Similarly, I think it applies to each and every one of us, whatever life cycle or career stage we may be. And lastly, as I said, when we talk of quality, there should not be any place. We must be determined that there should be zero mistakes and zero tolerance. Again, not to highlight something, again, not to demean something or to make something, and at least when you are communicating outside, communicating to the world, there should be hardly any mistake. We can't say that, okay, there is a newsletter and the front page itself there is some mistake. You are inviting someone and we really don't know that where does the profile matches. He is not comfortable that second time whether he is going to come or not. I am just giving you an example, pardon me for that. We need to get to where do we serve lunch. We have such a beautiful campus. Why we need to cramp it in a small dark room? Why we need not give them an opportunity that they walk through the campus, see the ambience of the campus, and even if it takes 5 minutes for them to reach the first floor of the mess and enjoy that kind of an ambience. From various perspectives it is important. So whatever we do, I think we need to collectively see that how these things are minimized. And each one of us feel that, and all the staff members and faculty members feel more heavily burdened with so many activities planned around the year. It is because that student-driven culture, the involvement of the student, whether it is a Spardha or Udan or a conclave or a guest lecture or whatever, we don't see that kind of initiative coming from the students. Again, the background may reflect, except for few of them. But then this is a challenge where we need to work upon. How to pick up those 50 students who can drive these activities. It will not happen overnight. But then we'll have to make it if we want to do some value addition work for ourselves. When we talk of research, when we talk of consultancy, when we talk of MDP, I think This is something at the bottom that we need to address and need to see that how the burden can be shared by them and they see benefit in doing these activities on their own. I just shared with we talk of placements. You would have all seen this front page news on Economic Times. Students fuel placement engine at IIMs and IITs. It did happen even at IITs and it happens at MDIs and IMIs. Right from building relationships to calling, visiting companies to calling to scheduling their event, scheduling their placement schedule on campus, putting the students together, offering refreshments to the visitors, to the guests. Everything is student driven. Please read this article, it will tell you from end to end each and everything is being done by the students. And this is highlighting one of the most critical activity on campus. Forget about your sports event, forget about your annual festival, forget about your conclaves, where a lot of confidentiality is involved, a lot of stake of this institution is involved, a lot of future of the students of the institute is involved, and at the same time it is the interpersonal dynamics of the students is involved, where on a small trigger there can be rift and fights in the campus just because a student may have not been allowed by the other student living placement committee to appear for a particular company. But then you have to have that kind of a system, that kind of I would say the culture in that campus or place, and as faculty members you need to be there to guide them and develop that kind of a structure. Now if they are doing it, it is not happening overnight. Alumni, another important thing. It will not happen overnight. We need to have separate people, separate staff, separate office if we need to leverage the strength of alumni for this. And I think we should not shy away from strongly proposing some kind of initiatives at our campus at this stage. This I have already shared with the CEO placements. This is not the first time that on this particular instance that I have written to them or I have spoken to them, but every time I say, now I understand that there have been some small initiatives where students go for certain visits. You identify few of them. It's a good beginning, but we really need to see that how it can be capitalized. आपके पूरे 240 में 10 बच्चे ऐसे जरूर होंगे जो ऐसा कर सकते हैं. This context and mindset, I've already talked somewhere in the beginning. We will have to have our change our reference points in our mindset. Sorry for taking these names, but our context cannot be defined by ITS, IMS and NDIM anymore. As a researcher, as a MDP trainer, as a consultant, as a teacher, whatever, we need to have upgrade our reference point or our context in which we are talking. And let me tell you from my experience and what I strongly believe in, that so far the institution is giving you, please take the maximum of that institution. We should look always positive in the institution. There can be 100 of negatives in the institution, but please, so far you will have 200 other positive things to take from the institution. Build upon that, and then I think the institute will be happy if you are gracing some IIMs and international organizations or international institutions who will be ready to take you. It should not happen that 2 months later you regret. And then maybe explore opportunities of coming back. it is happening. Please let me tell you this. This has not happened in one case, it is happening, and it has happened in many cases. This, and I am talking of only last 2 years. Strongly vouch for it. Let's have a strong research journal. Look at any ranking, look at any institution. They are known for, again, any good research journal gives you a good leverage and a good mileage. Faculty and student collaborative research, I have already talked. I think Verbal Gym can be an excellent coffee book, magazine for your corporates and for your alumni and for your students. I request that please work on the quality of that. NRC initiatives, I must compliment and thank you for quite a few initiatives that you have taken. Please continue that and see that how we can enrich more and more, not only to this campus, how you can reach out to other campuses, other B schools also. They should wait for that. Like today, early in the morning, I wait for your mail. There will be hundreds and thousands in the corporates who should be waiting for your mail. Lastly, confidence and happiness in schools. Let us forget about their content. Let us forget about their learning part. Let us forget about their behavioral part. Let us forget about attitudinal part. And you must be meeting them more frequently than me. But except for few, whenever I meet them, most of them are found low on confidence, very unhappy, morose type. जान नहीं है, चेहरे पे खुशी नहीं है, चेहरे पे हंसी नहीं है. Classes have been cancelled. 350. Yeah. Classes have been cancelled, right? So, first of all, we need to communicate and send them a message. Look cheerful. Look happy. Walking into a mall, even if you are doing a window shopping, you stop only before a window which is colorful, which is happy, which is lively. Forget about the purchasing decision or the purchase part. That happens later. Maybe 10 times you walk to and fro and then you decide कि अच्छा ये वाला था, ये ठीक है, इसको लेना है. Now think of a person who walks in to an interview with a grim face, with no smile. The first and foremost reaction of, everyone is to imagine what would be the reaction of the recruiter. So in our own ways, if we can make them happy, make them smile, make them a little bit more confident, I think we can make a big difference in that. As we go along with the area presentations, where since we all would be present there, as particularly the faculty members, we can discuss them in more detail. And then of course we are also having committee meetings, so in the committee meetings also we can discuss them in more detail. So broadly, to conclude, we should be expecting, we will have to work towards the curriculum redesign. The area will have to work on the kind of area inputs that is much more realistic, which is going to help our students. Because my thinking is very clear. See, I have been telling even in the board and the meetings also, that till some time back, 5 years, and even the admissions team, the admissions meet also I said, that for whatever reason the industry was not providing this student, what we call as a student experience or comfort in the campus, the basic hygiene, which is food, the experience, the happiness, what you have these kind of events and sports and everything. How long? These are not something which is going to sustain us. We probably 3 to 4 years, 5 years was good time to leverage this as an advantage. Prior to that, foreign visit, laptop, tie, dress, these things helped certain institutions or maybe discounts. right? They helped the institutes to flourish. After that, soon everyone realized कुछ इससे मिलने वाला नहीं। आज हम 5 साल में इतना कुछ करके अपनी ब्रांडिंग कर लिए, we have consolidated our position, we are much ahead. If we look 5 years ahead, this will be a given thing. Maybe the kind of profile of students we are looking at, they would not even expect this. You can watch their behavior, look their attitude towards their event and these things, except for basic hygiene and basic comfort in the hostel and the net and other things, they probably would not look beyond. Then what is that is going to be differentiated from a student's perspective? It is only what they get in terms of long-term career, how we are going to add value and move them in a next cadre or a next league. The other day I remember I went to Department of Management Studies, you go to any good PE schools. There are so many things that we do, so many things we talk about. Those are the things never talked about or highlighted in those campuses. It is the faculty, it is their input, it is the teaching, it is ultimately the placement, it is the student readiness. And once that happens, automatically the cycle begins where you will have better students coming in and you land up in a different league of things. So I think we need to focus on that. Today sometimes we are frustrated. Today we talk of challenges of conversions. Today we are talking of good companies not coming or if coming, we're going empty-handed. These are the things we need to address in next 2 years. And how to make it more effective. It is not that they are asking something very big. They are rejecting our students on fundamental knowledge, fundamental attributes, fundamental competencies of applying concepts, application, real life understanding, their aptitude, their attitude. Now, if that can be built up, that can be transformed, we will be ready for the next step. Very easy process, very easy thing to understand, difficult to do. But then if you can do it, we will certainly change the environment with various academic inputs or academic endeavors, which is important and so critical for the students. I think there are a lot of compromises which one would have to make, both as far as your personal commitments are concerned, family commitments are concerned, and at the same time the institutional commitments that we have here in Jaipuria. So it takes a big challenge for each one of us to have a trade-off and a balance, and have to have an ideal sound balance across these 3 responsibilities that we all have. The list could be endless, I think, but then in the nutshell, again, to conclude this part, that it has been a great eventful period that we have gone through, and when we say that we all need to be congratulated and we need to be thanking all of you, is maybe it's just not because of just few of these achievements or few of these